Hello everyone. Today's video is about questions about the safe and sound protocol and how it might relate to sympathetic dominance, and then also a question about chronic yeast issues and how that might relate to biofilms. So just before jumping into the video, as per usual, nothing I'm saying should be construed as medical advice. This is for informational purposes only. If you need medical advice, please talk to your healthcare provider to get that advice. And also, if you don't mind taking a quick moment to please like, share, subscribe, and or post a quick comment on this video, I'd really appreciate it. So thanks in advance for taking a second to do that. So the safe and sound protocol question first. So I posted a video a little while ago called safe and sound protocol and polyvagal theory part 1, and someone asked a question, does it work for nervous systems that are stuck in sympathetic mode? So thank you for the question. So the safe and sound protocol was designed to help folks to stay at the top of the autonomic nervous system ladder, so to speak. I talk about that sort of ladder metaphor in this video, this part 1 safe and sound protocol video. As a very quick recap, basically there's, per the work of Dr. Stephen Porges, and who developed something called polyvagal theory, our autonomic nervous systems can exist in one of 3 different modes. I mean, we can sort of shift, we can be in maybe more than one mode at once in certain circumstances, but generally speaking, we're in one of 3 different modes, and kind of can think about that, visualizing it as a ladder. So if these are the rungs of the ladder, so if you're at the top rung, that's actually, I'm going to bring my hands down because it's otherwise it's going to be just a weird still image for my YouTube thumbnail or something like that. So I'll keep my fingers down. Anyways, let's picture a ladder. Top rung, you're in the ventral vagal mode, so feeling really good, connected, safe, balanced. Everything's wonderful when you're ventral vagal. The rung below that is the sympathetic mode, so being in that fight or flight mode. And then the bottom rung, where we don't want to be, is in this dorsal vagal state where we feel unsafe, disconnected from other people, depleted, just nervous system dysregulation is afoot. And when folks are suffering with complex chronic illness, certain mental health challenges, other issues, then you can be in a dorsal vagal state. So the purpose of the Safe and Sound protocol is to help folks develop the nervous system resiliency needed to spend hopefully most of their time in that ventral vagal state, the top of the ladder, in that really good state. But then we do need to dip into the sympathetic mode actually, I have to shift something here. I've got a video playing on my peripheral vision. It's very distracting. So we should be able to shift into the sympathetic mode as needed. If we're exercising, if we're having a stressful conversation with someone, if we're running late for a meeting, we need to get into sympathetic mode sometimes. And quite frankly, if life is really overwhelming, like maybe we are going to just naturally dip into that dorsal vagal mode. And it's like, hey, like this is a time where I need to, ask for help. I need to take some things off my plate, things like that. So it's really not about trying to stay ventral vagal all the time. That's a lofty aspiration, but really not realistic in this world that we find ourselves in. But we should be able to comfortably and effectively move from one rung to the next on this ladder, and hopefully spend most of our time in that ventral vagal state. So the question of, does it work for nervous systems? Does the Safe and Sound protocol work for nervous systems that are stuck in sympathetic mode? That is one of the reasons that it was what it was designed for, to help someone break that pattern, get out of that pattern, be able to phase into that ventral vagal state more easily. So for more details about what the heck is the Safe and Sound protocol, please reference the video. There's a part 1 and a part 2, and then you can also just look it up online, and there's a website for the Safe and Sound protocol and other folks that talk about it besides just me. So I will close that tab, and then the other. This is really more of a comment, but I feel like there was kind of a question embedded in here, and I just thought it would be useful and interesting to talk about. So I posted a video 6 months ago called Biofilms, the Best Disruptors and How Long They Take to Work. Fairly popular video, almost 2,000 views on that one. It's pretty good for my videos. And so it says here, thank you for this video. I was wondering a few things about biofilms, and the info online is too contradictory sometimes. When you look it up for Priority One's product, so Priority One makes this product, if memory serves, I think it's them who makes it. It's called, oh my gosh, what is it called? Maybe phase 2 advance or something like that. I think that might be what it is. Anyways, if memory serves, it's a product that has some really good phase 2 biofilm disruptors in it. It's bismuth, bismuth, alpha lipoic acid, dithiol complex, along with some black cumin seed. So that, if memory serves, that's what the product is. So anyways, if you look up for Priority 1's product, you find very varying answers. Have been on phase 2 biofilm by Priority 1. Maybe that's what it's called, phase 2 biofilm. That probably makes more sense. Had candida since I was a child and have been able to clear 70 to 80% of it, but that last 20 to 30% never seems to quite move. Wasn't seeing much results after 2 to 3 months of biofilm busters and was tempted to give up, but it seems I might be the person that needs it a little longer than most, since they've had this issue for more than 15 years. So I think there's a question embedded in there. So thank you for the comment, and we'll say a question as well. So when it comes to biofilm disruption, I mean, there's so many potential moving parts, so many little nuances that would help to give insight into whether, yes, you just need biofilm disruptors for longer, or, whether maybe there's something else that's afoot. Of course, it could be that, I just recently posted a video about what's the difference between SIFO and Candida and SIBO, and I mean, we could extend that to parasites and exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, also known as EPI, and various other things that could all really overlap with one another. So, sometimes when there are cases that are just 70-80% better, say treating for Candida, but 20 to 30% of the symptoms are just not moving, it could be because of biofilms, it could be because of really tenacious biofilms, but it also could be that there's some other type of dysbiosis afoot. It could be that the microbes have maybe developed a resistance to whatever was being used to treat. It's also possible there could be some microbial hypersensitivity going on, so it might be a case that low-dose immunotherapy or / LDI would be helpful for, and then again, it could be that there's some just needs for some gut healing or some additional digestive support if there is something like EPI, or maybe a bile production insufficiency. So there's a lot of different possible explanations. In my experience with my patients, if I have a patient on a strong biofilm disruptor, and I think the phase 2 biofilm by Priority 1 is a good product. If only I could remember the name of it. I think it's a good product. I mean, it's not, in my opinion, quite as strong as one that would have a chelator in it like DMSA or DMPS, but it's pretty darn good. In my experience, with my patients, I would really expect to see a change after 2 to 3 months. Now, I mean, it also depends what dosage a person is taking as well. If a person's only taking, say, 1 capsule a week, that's a very low dose for a biofilm disruptor. So it really depends on a lot of different factors. But if a patient is taking a robust dose of a biofilm disruptor for 2 to 3 months, if we're not seeing any change whatsoever, then in my experience, I think there's a really good chance that it's not biofilm related in a case like that. Now, on the other hand, if one of my patients was taking a biofilm disruptor and they were seeing some flare-up symptoms after starting that, or they were seeing some improvements with certain things, then it might be that, it's an indication that you've just got really tenacious biofilms, and some people need to be on them for 6 months, rarely, sometimes longer. And so it could be potentially a case like that. But in my experience, if there's just crickets, good dose of biofilm disruptor, and there's crickets after 2 to 3 months, then I would be, in my practice with my patients, really thinking we probably need to switch gears to something else. So regardless of all of that, to the person who posted this comment / quasi question, I hope that you find answers to your 20 to 30% residual symptoms soon, and I hope you're feeling all better ASAP. I hope this information was of interest to folks. If you have any comments or questions on these topics or anything else, just post in my comment section below, and I will answer as best as I can.